guys, this is Kendra with Follow Up Session. I'm in North Georgia. I'm going to sit down and have a talk with Nelson Chandler. He's from Georgia as well, and my son Ethan Broome. We did a little tour of his trophy room earlier. It's pretty impressive of the deer that he's taken over the years, but I was even more impressed with his turkey skills. I've never seen the amount of turkey beards hanging in one spot. There was somewhere upward of 30 or 40 turkey beards, and I'm talking 10-inch turkey beards. I'm going to show you his trophy room, and I'm also going to sit down and have a couch chat with him. So stay tuned and see where our conversation carries us to. I hope you enjoy. Thanks. Y'all stay upset.
Collected over the years.
Don't get intimidated by this thing.
Well, this one was killed in, this is a Midwest deer. This one was killed in Illinois with a bow.
That's nice deer.
Probably about 2011 or 12. And this one was killed in 1989 in Harrisburg on the mountain over there.
Yeah.
And the reason I had it mounted, a guy that was working with me was trying taxidermy, and he tried to mount one. He didn't do very good.
Yeah.
It's the first one he ever
big
mounted.
body deer, wasn't it?
Yes, pretty good sized deer. 1989, I think it was.
You ever noticed all the deer that come out of Harrisburg are usually pretty good sized bodies?
This one was killed over here, not far from the house here, over there with a rifle. And this is a rifle kill, same place that one was. Long about 2008, 7, 8. And that was in 1986. That is in Harrisburg.
I love that
Really?
one.
Mm-hmm.
That's a nice looking
Yeah.
deer.
I was just real young in Harrisburg.
What did that
That
one
must be the
score?
one
That's
Rodney was thinking about.
133 and 3/8,
That's a
I
heck.
think. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That one in the county records.
It is. I think
Okay.
it's knocked out now.
Oh,
But it was
really?
like number 8, and it
Oh.
fell to 11.
Yeah. Rodney's
all-
got one that's 134 and
Yeah, it's
Oh,
right
so-
below Rodney's.
Okay.
Yeah. And this one was killed in 2017 with a rifle right up here.
I like that chocolate rack on
That's
it.
a big old body deer too, wasn't it?
It was a big-bodied deer. And this one was killed in 2020. Same, almost exact place that one was, like 50 yards
Really?
apart. And this is an Illinois bow kill.
Nice.
It's Illinois. Well, we don't have the property in Illinois anymore, so that's all over.
Yeah.
And I killed this one with a rifle on the mountain, I think. Yeah. And then that one is a bow kill on the mountain.
On Pigeon.
No,
Yeah.
Harrisburg.
Harrisburg.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, there's. I don't
I'm
know how many-
impressed with all the turkey beards
Yeah,
now.
I don't know how many.
I don't know
turkey
where all
beards-
mine are at.
I don't know how many's there. I have no idea. There's.
What's the longest beard you can
I
think
think 10
of?
and a half inches. I think. There's one long spurs.
Mm-hmm.
I guess there's probably. I run out of room to hang them.
I like to have that problem.
Probably got about 30 there, don't you?
11.
Look at the hooks on that one right there.
There's about 30 to 40 beards
Yeah.
right there. Yeah. And then there's that one behind you.
I like. That's what I'm
Yeah.
gonna. I think that's what I'm gonna do next.
Yeah,
She
it's
showed me a
hard to
picture
keep
of that.
clean. The dust gets in those.
Yeah.
How did you do this? Or?
No, Stanley.
Stevenson?
No. Hang on. Todd Daniels' is daddy.
Oh,
Sandy.
Sandy Daniels? Yeah.
Uh-huh. Did that. Uh-huh.
That looks good. I might get that done on one.
Yeah, Sandy Daniels did that one. Man, oh no. I gotta get some more hooks. I've got a whole bunch of more of them
Mm-hmm.
that are in a freezer that I just never have done anything with.
Yeah.
Did you do the shotgun shells like that?
I did all that myself, except for
that.
maybe 1 or 2 of them. I think the ones that are white, Sandy did.
Yeah.
These 3, 4, 5. Sandy did them.
Yeah.
Not, yeah, Sandy.
I've been beading mine. Cherokee beading them.
Yeah. Yeah, Sandy did those.
I like that.
That's
pretty sweet.
impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Spurs.
Probably not hard to do either, really.
I know it's Ethan's bird that he got. Was last year.
Got that one with
The
tall
big one?
Yeah.
It's got a curly beard.
Kind of curly.
Yeah.
I knew it was long. I figured 10-inch beard, but we took it home and like straightened it out, and it was just over 11 inches. And I was like, "That's pretty good, ain't it?" They said,
Wow.
he said, "Yeah, you probably never killed one with a longer beard than that."
No,
He's killed like you. He's killed a ton of
10,
them.
10 and a half.
Yeah.
I don't remember ever being
Well,
over 10 and a half.
Yeah.
I sent Daddy down there the next day to kill that other one that was with him, because when they come in, The other one looked like an ostrich compared to the one I shot. He was huge.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how long his beard was or nothing, but he was over here. My gun barrel was pointed right here, and the one that I shot, I just had to kind of. He was already just straight down my barrel, so
Wow.
I shot him. Yeah.
Yeah. And this one I mounted it. I can't remember who did this mount for me, but it was in 1995.
Yeah,
And the
20
reason-
pound turkey.
20 pounds.
Wow.
It was killed on the mountain over there on our property.
That's a
Yeah.
The reason I
mountain
had it done like that, because the beard's not that impressive. It's pretty long, but not very big.
Mm-hmm.
But my son was with me. He was about 4.
Yeah.
And we actually called. He wouldn't come in, so we just abandoned the calling altogether.
Yeah.
And I put the shotgun on my back, and me and him crawled, belly crawled.
You
All
know,
over
4
there.
years
We
old.
used a rock,
Yeah.
and we slid around behind a rock and waited. We could hear him in the leaves.
Yeah.
And I heard him gobble, and we just raised up, bam, and there
How
he was.
close was he? I mean,
20 yards, I guess. He was right there. I mean, when we raised up, I mean, my son was actually so small, he had to spring up.
Say it's 4.
He's 4 or 5.
That's pretty good. He's at.
Well, now he's born in '89, so that was in '95.
Yeah.
96, so he
Yeah.
was 6.
Yeah.
He was 6. Yeah, he turkey hunted quite a bit when he was young. He killed a few gobblers, I think. 1 or 2 of these are his. I think he killed 3. Where there's a yellow shell.
Yeah.
Was it
20 gauge?
Yeah, 20 gauge. There's 1 or 2 that's in there. But he just kind of abandoned it and then started deer hunting again and just kind of left turkey.
How old is he
Yeah.
now?
He's 33.
He's a little older than me.
Yeah.
He's a doctor.
Yeah,
That's
he
what I was
was.
telling Mama.
He was ER doctor at Floyd
Yeah.
for 3 years, and then he now has left that and went to Shorter College.
Mm-hmm.
He's a medical instructor
Oh, wow.
at Shorter.
You like it better?
Yeah, the hours.
Yeah,
He
I
said that
imagine
the
that's-
ER was like, and he
Yeah.
had 2 kids, never seen them.
Yeah.
He said, I ain't living like this.
Hmm.
So he went on. But I'll keep my clothes right here, everything hunting related except my grandson's BB gun.
Yeah.
And a shotgun. I'm a big believer in scent lock clothes. I really like them, so I keep them sealed up.
Yeah.
I never use them until deer season.
I had one of those tanks made a big bag that was charcoal lined.
Mm-hmm.
I think Rodney's got it now. I
You
don't
like
know,
it?
But
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
I did at the
Mhm.
time.
I think I've got one like that.
You might have mine.
I still have this old Advantage coat. I don't wear it deer hunting anymore, but I wear it just different places.
Yeah.
I love that when
Ha-
they made that.
Hadley's got mine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she wears it.
They don't make it anymore, but I love that color because
They
you can't
have-
see that thing.
Mhm.
They had the short sleeves. I remember I quit wearing it when I was growing up because not because it didn't fit, but because the sleeves were way up here.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it was for me, you know.
And that coat, I mean, I guess I bought that coat from Stan Hammond when they had the archery
Yeah.
store down in
I
Triangle.
bought, yeah, that's where I got mine
Yeah.
from.
It's still here. I
They're,
still wear it.
That's a good coat. It's just flannel lined.
Yeah.
And everything else.
And it's that material, I mean, the camo color,
Mhm.
you lay the coat down about this time of year,
You'll lose
you
it.
can't really find it.
Well, I had people get me to camouflage their guns and
Mhm.
bows,
Mhm.
and they'd want that pattern.
Mm-hmm.
And one guy said he went hunting and he propped his gun up or something in this tree. So he turned around and he's like, I couldn't figure out where my gun was at. He lost it.
You lose it.
You
Man,
care
you
if I
will.
take pictures of some of your deer, show Dad?
Shoot, no.
I told him, he was asking about it. He said, yeah, I'd like to see them.
Never seen a turkey vest with sleeves in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does have that. You know, I just joined them this year. All the years I've turkey hunted,
I
I've
did
never
too last
been.
year.
I wanted to go to the Nashville show. I thought, well, I'll get in cheaper if I'm part of the.
Not really.
No, it didn't
Did you
work
go?
out. No,
We
Ethan was
went
going to go
last
with
year. We
me.
didn't go this year. We went
Yeah.
last year. It was fun, but there were so many people. It was not fun.
Yeah. But I'm Kendra DeBerry with Follow Up Session, and I'm here in Georgia. I'm going to talk with Nelson Chandler and Ethan Broome. Thought we might touch around on the subject of public and private land. What you think is easier, harder? What you've had more luck at?
Okay. Definitely private for me.
Yeah.
I have killed a few deer on public, mostly pigeon. I've hunted some public land in South Georgia and around, but mostly I've killed several bucks on pigeon, but it was a lot harder than the private to me.
Yeah. Got a lot more pressure to deal with.
A lot more
Public.
pressure.
It's huge, too. That's the thing.
It's big,
Yeah.
a lot more ground to cover. And just a lot of work, but it's a lot of fulfillment when you do accomplish it on the public land.
Yeah,
Even more than I think private.
Yeah, I feel like you've done something whenever you've killed a good, buck or a good turkey or whatever on public land, because
Yeah,
you can go out and scout and do all your homework, and then that day you go in there, somebody else might be sitting in that spot.
especially a turkey. They're vocal, so people go
Yeah.
to that.
Once they hear that,
they
it's
hear
like
that, it's
buzzards going to the kill.
I have a turkey gobbling and have to change completely.
Yeah.
Because
I know somebody told me one time that those birds on pigeon that after about the first day or two, that first weekend, they can tell you what kind of turkey color you're using.
That's that H&S strut.
Yeah.
I really don't think calling's too that important on the
It's really
public
not.
land.
I have more
just-
luck just
Yeah.
scratching leaves.
Scratching leaves and positioning and
Yep.
where you are.
Yeah.
And I kind of scouted them a little bit, kind of have an idea of what direction they're going, which they change. But
Yeah.
if you can put yourself in that position,
Yeah.
that he's going anyway.
Yeah. Whenever I do my scouting for public or private turkeys, I try to find where they feel comfortable, where I know they have that strut zone and stuff, because if you can't call them in, if you can get to that spot where they're going to be eventually during the day, you
They're
narrow your
going there.
chances.
They're going anyway there,
Yeah.
whether you're there or not, and you're just there.
Yeah.
So, I think that makes a big difference. And even private land. I mean, you have a lot more opportunity. You hear one gobbling, chances are you're the only one going after him.
Yeah.
But still, I like to know generally which way he might go.
Yeah.
They're unpredictable too.
They're unpredictable. You can set up where you think he might go, and he goes the other way.
Yeah.
So,
You gotta know all your obstacles in a way, whether it's fences, ditches,
a
and
lot of people think you have to be a great caller. I've never been a good caller,
Me either.
Yeah.
Yes,
but yet I've never not tagged out since the early '80s.
That's impressive.
Mhm.
That's
So
I
it's
was
been-
impressed with all the beards he's got
Yeah.
hanging. It's like,
It's been I like deer hunting, but I've always said I'm a turkey hunter who likes to deer hunt.
yeah.
So,
I've always, I love turkey hunting. Deer hunting's probably my favorite, but hunting with a bow. But I won't turn down not one turkey hunt. Somebody said, "Let's go." I'm all for it.
yeah, I love deer hunting, but I'm obsessed.
Yeah.
I guess with
turkey hunting is more of to me. It's a group thing. It can be a group thing.
Yeah.
Too. I enjoy that. I enjoy just going out there and being with it.
Yeah.
You know.
Plus moving.
That's
you
the
know,
part I like. You get
Kids
to
and
move.
stuff.
You
It's
don't.
great.
You don't have to be
have to
so
worry about
quiet. Yeah.
That's a big plus too.
Go out and climb a tree.
It's their eyes and ears you gotta fool.
Oh yeah, the eyes, man.
And their hormones.
I know over the past few years hunting on public for turkeys, really private and public both, but when public opens up, because our season lays out now, we've got I think this year it's even 2 weeks of private in some places
Right before you can even go.
Yeah, but when you get to where you can hunt on public property and like the hills and it's ridgy around here, my legs are just cooked after that first few days.
Yeah,
And then I'll
yeah.
finally, about towards the end of the season, I'll start getting acclimated to it, where I
That's
feel like
good.
I'm.
It's a good workout.
Yeah, definitely.
Good work.
Last season I felt like I was cooked because we just figured out midday was the time to go.
I was
It was
scared of you.
hot, miserable.
Yeah, it was May.
Just talking to y'all, I've never been much of a midday hunter,
Yeah.
and now I want to do it more. But I was always like worn out.
Yeah.
When it opens
Go.
up, we'll
Now you
go.
can sleep late and go in the
Sleep
middle of
late,
the
go in the
day.
middle.
Well, the reason I started doing it was because like taking her to school in the mornings and stuff like that. I would take her to school. I can't get out there and get them off the roost, and I would just go ahead and because that portion of the morning usually until they're pretty much without the hens. That's where they're at. They're with the hens, and I would go like 11 o'clock and just tell I had to go pick her
Maybe
up.
a turkey.
Yeah, you'd
Do
go
more
right in the
scouting than
middle.
anything, listening. Honestly,
Drop her off and go turkey hunting.
Once
and
I
go back.
found out where they're at, I try to just stay off of them, not really bother them. And the next day when I had more time, I'd get out there and I'd hunt them.
Yeah, it's I did it some last year because last year was so tough. The turkey population's kind of low.
Yeah.
It was really rough. I had to hunt hard. I killed one in April and then early April, and then it was like all the way till the end of the
Pretty
season
good bird, too.
before
Wow.
I was able to get the second turkey.
Yeah. I was looking at, I got a catalog or a magazine from the National Wild Turkey Federation. And in the back it has what the state's amount of birds they have and then the kills for that year. And Georgia was like don't quote me on this, but say it was something like 50,000 birds. It might have been more than that, actual in the state. And then it said there were 17,000 kills, you know, for like, this was like last year, whatever. Tennessee's just above us, 250,000 birds, and they killed 50,000 birds.
Wow.
You think about
A lot more.
percentage-wise, though, that's.
Yeah, but I mean, see, I
35%.
posted, but each state goes through this little lull, you know, where
Yeah, we
the
have.
turkey population gets knocked down. This is the first time I've ever experienced it.
I've had it where it were like places you hunted that had a lot of turkey and went back the next year were just not as good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then maybe down the road there's a better place that wasn't as good the year before.
Yeah.
Something's changed to make them wanna.
Yeah, I don't
move.
know.
They're real dependent on like, they gotta have a whole lot of stuff, they're not like deer can live anywhere, you know.
Yeah,
but
deer live
turkeys-
just about
Yeah.
anywhere, but they're weird.
Yeah, the
They
turkey's
feed-
gotta
yeah.
have that habitat,
They
you know.
have a
for
strut. They like to strut,
Yeah.
and they like to.
The hens like to have that place where they're gonna raise their clutch, you know, where they lay their eggs, they're gonna lay them close to where they're gonna be feeding.
Yeah, they
They're
want,
poults.
they want a good brooding habitat where, and that's something that's kinda,
That's
we're
what
losing
keeps
that.
getting
We
messed
are.
up, yeah.
We're losing that. We're having a lot of habitat changes.
yeah, I know, private land, I haven't seen any better than doing on private, but like, a few of the public places around here, I've noticed the past couple of years that the DNR is really like focusing on turkeys, and they're doing a whole lot of work. They're birding, they're running cameras, different things. They're going there and select cutting places, and which is good. You know,
Oh yeah,
we need it.
It's, I think it'll come back. You know, it was
Yeah.
dead in the low 80s when I turkey hunted in the low 80 and 81, 82. If you heard one, it was a blessing. And if you got, and I wound up killing one or two
Yeah,
every year,
Yeah.
and then you could see it come up in the 90s and it would go back down.
that's,
Come back.
that's what I was talking about earlier.
We're down now.
That's impressive because, you know, other than, well, last year was the first year we had the 2 tags per season. It was probably 3 tags per season for a long time.
3
Yeah.
for a long
For a
time.
And
long
tagged
time.
out every year for,
Yeah.
what, 30, 40 years?
Yeah, it was 2 way back years ago.
Was it?
Yeah,
Then it went to 3,
yeah,
and now it was
Now
back
it's
to
back
2.
to 2.
That's,
Yeah.
that's a feat, you know.
So when I say tagged out, sometimes there was 2.
yeah, yeah. I didn't start turkey hunting until 90s, early 90s.
Nice.
Yeah, my brother's what got me started. He come to the house one day and he had one of those diaphragm calls, and he went calling. He wasn't good on it at all. Sorry, Kevin. But he wasn't. I used to kid him all the time that he sounded like a choo-choo train.
Yeah,
But
you tried.
Yeah.
it fired me up. I wanted to learn, and I dug into Nightingale and all that. But Ben Lee's where I got my calling
Yeah,
from.
Ben Lee.
Yeah, and I got a cassette tape somewhere that he instructs y'all on it, and he'll tell you about where he lived. They had fall, you know, turkey season and stuff. But he'd tell you, you know, how to call them in the fall or spring, what each call meant, how to pull them in. And that first year I went, me and Rodney was going. He said, "Big, good feeling, kill a big tom one up my day." I said, "Yeah, I'll let you know how it feels." Just joking. But I used the calls that Ben Lee, I learned from him, and it pulled the bird right
You
to
did,
me.
yeah.
Yeah, I got him that day.
Yeah, that's amazing right there. Yeah. Some people work for a long time.
Yeah.
It's like anything else.
It's
Some
not
people are good at it,
feeling
some
the
think.
place like that ever again though. I just got lucky that year.
That's sometimes what it takes.
Had all the luck on my
I've
side.
been there before.
Lucky, right place, right time.
Yeah.
But as I got more into it, I learned more and you know started thinking like a turkey. Whenever I worked at Cabela's, I got on the lease with my oldest brother. I never had time to go hunt. I paid for his lease and never got to go. And him and one of his friends was on the lease, and they've been trying to kill these same 3 birds all season. I think I had told you about this. And it was the last week of the season. I went in there, but I took what I knew, and the birds just kept hanging in the center of that field, wouldn't come out. See, that's where they were comfortable. And they stayed with those hens strutting. But as the day progressed on, they were going to move out of those fields because the hens were going to go nest and stuff. And I told him, I said, there's an island, a point that comes out in that field on the other end. I said, if we get on that, I said, we're in the center. I said, we can either, you know, pull them kind of to this side or that side or up the middle.
Right.
I said, and he goes, he said, we can't get them down here. I said, well, they're with a hen. And he goes, you see a hen? I said, no, but I know it's why they're in the middle of that field. And he said, what do you want to do? I said, I'm going to make her mad. He goes, what? And I said, if I make her mad, she's gonna come down here and whoop me, and she's gonna bring both of
So
them
they're
with her.
coming with her.
And so that's what I did.
Yeah, sure did. Talking last year how tough it was, I killed the one pretty quick. I thought, well, it's gonna be a great year, and then about midway through, it just wasn't happening. And then I was sitting on the edge of a field, and I anticipated them coming in a corner, and I anticipated right. It's kind of like what you did.
Yeah,
But he stayed just a little bit further back.
yeah.
So I thought he'd come across. I said, he's in range. And he came on in pretty close and got behind a tree, and I waited and waited for him to come out behind that tree. And he just never did. And I looked, he had walked the tree, but he had walked away.
Oh. Yeah.
All I had to do was lean, if I'd
And
just
you would
lean.
see.
But it was a big tree, and he was walking that way, but
Yeah.
the tree had me blocked completely. And I looked,
He
well,
didn't get
that's
out of
just
range.
typical of what happened last
Yeah.
year. Nothing was working right.
Yeah. How have you done with decoys? Do you use decoys?
In the field sometimes, and I have used them in the woods. There's one place I hunted, it was on pigeon.
Yeah.
And it was a long ridge, and it was real open, like in late March, when the season opened in March or early April. And I had turkey gobbling like crazy. And he came to the top of the hill, and I could see him on top of the hill, and you could just tell he was just looking.
Yeah.
There wasn't nothing to see, and it was so open.
Yeah.
So he got spooked, 'cause
Yeah.
he knew.
I've had big
I have
big
used
birds.
them that way, like, you know.
Yeah, I've had big birds shy away from them,
Yeah.
or jakes will come right into them.
Right. I have had right the opposite effect.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't use a decoy a whole lot.
I don't either.
Very, you know,
I
if I'm
like
gonna,
to be mobile. If I have to set that fool, that decoy, it's hindering me
yeah,
getting
and it's
to the
cost me
bird.
before. I've tried to get it out before and got busted.
Yeah,
We use them
I
as
thought if I'd have just sat down and called,
yeah.
everything would have been all right. But instead, I tried to get that decoy. I do carry one
Yeah, I used to.
sometimes, not all the time.
Yeah.
Now they've come a long way. Those decoys have.
Okay.
Like when I was a kid, and I don't know, like in the '80s, I wasn't around,
It's
but
like a stick of wood.
yeah, when I was a kid, it was the little foam, like styrofoam things,
Yeah.
and they're
You
not
could-
very.
You could wad them up, but
Yeah, not
after a
very
while, you
realistic.
start
No,
having
not.
stuff in them to keep
Yeah.
them out. They'd stay
I
flat.
bought one of the 3D. It's like a basketball. It reminds me of the rubber last year, and it looks good. It's, I mean, even up
Yeah,
close, it
food,
looks pretty
yeah.
real. And I used it on that first bird. The first morning I carried a guy from work. He never killed turkey. I called in a couple of jakes right behind us. He couldn't get a shot. And the next day he couldn't go. Well, I knew where the toms were at, so I just snuck up there with him before daylight, waited on the gobble. And I got a little too close. I was about 60 yards from where they were at. I sort of misjudged where they were roosted. So I watched one fly down. I had that decoy out. And they come in. They were still nervous with that decoy looking at it, I think, because it wouldn't move.
Yeah.
And they hung up twice coming in. And finally that last time they didn't putt or nothing, but they were getting pretty nervous and they had started to work away. But I've had a whole lot more luck out of that rubber decoy than anything. Oh yeah, especially if you like
What
in the
about a
woods.
gobbler decoy? You ever used a gobbler?
I have, and I've had mixed results like jakes and stuff like that.
Mhm.
They want to tear that thing up. A tom, I think it's subordinate toms. Like I've had toms, I've called them in, I've called them out of the woods and out in the open, and they'll see that thing with the hen, they'll gobble. It's a strutter decoy, but they won't come into range. They're scared of it.
Yeah.
Which so I'm kind of careful about using the
I
tom.
tell you, I've had real good luck. Man, they came right in, and then the next time they like ran off.
Yeah.
I think
Literally like
it's
seen
the,
it.
Yeah, that's
it's the
the-
pecking
yeah,
order. I
yeah.
think it's depending on where that bird's at, the pecking order with the fly.
I had a decoy I had bought that it was like a pool toy. You had to blow it up, the fan and everything, and it looked like a real turkey head on it, and it was hard. That was the only hard part of it. And I used that thing for years until it deflated, and I couldn't get it to blow up anymore. It was like I was like, well, it looked like a dead turkey laying over there. They can jump on.
No, you're talking about the strut zones and stuff like that. Those birds, they want to. I guess is what I've noticed is they want you to come to them most of the time.
Oh, if they're in
But-
that strut zone, they
Yeah.
do. And if you think about it, your 2-year-olds and your jakes and stuff, they're the ones that'll go to a hen.
Yeah.
Cause when old boss Tom's out there and it's just like with a big buck, and he's got his does, the younger bucks ain't gonna come up there to that doe because they know the dominant buck is. Same with the dominant bird. But boss Tom, the hens go to him. He don't go to them.
I have better luck later in the year, like you were talking about, up in like in the May even, because at that point, they're spending less and less time with those hens, and especially in the middle of the day like that.
They're walking and looking.
They're eager. They're more willing to
If
come
you can
in.
get one to gobble in May pretty regular, you got a better chance of killing that turkey, I think, than you do in 1st April.
Our
Yeah.
weather's just kind of like, you know how it is. It's all over the place.
Plus, you got so much cover. We talked about being mobile.
Yeah.
You gotta really look for them though. Like, no, I can't see good, so I'm just constantly like looking for movement.
He's
because
doing
deer,
pretty
like,
good though, because he'll say, "There's turkey." I'm like, "Where?"
Yeah.
Somebody can't see good.
I just see movement.
No, he's saying
May
on the
not be
way
a
here, he
turkey.
goes, "There's some turkeys out there," and I said, "I ain't got my binoculars." He goes, "Never mind, it's dogs."
Yeah.
But I've had I told him I had a tom that I had roosted, and he was on the property next to where I was hunting, and I was trying to call him in one evening, and he just wouldn't come, and he was on the other side of this fence. Well, he flew up in a pine tree, and he wasn't 10, 15 yards from the fence, and I thought, well, I'll come back tomorrow, because the property I'm on, it was a field there, and I thought, it's on the west side. Now, I'd read that a turkey won't fly down to the east with the sun in her eyes.
I've
I
read
said,
that too. I don't
I was
know.
like, I got it. I got this bird. I'm gonna come back before it gets daylight in the morning. I'll set my decoys up. I'll get over here. I'll make a few tree yelp stuff, and he'll fly through. So he'll come in this field. I just knew I was gonna kill this bird. Well, I did those tree yelps and stuff, and he was fired up. He was gobbling. I thought, oh yeah, I got this bird. And I was waiting. I just, come on, just fly down. I know you're gonna come down this way, because the sun was out bright.
Yeah.
No, he went down on the other side with the sun in his eyes. I said, well,
The way they're not
that's been
supposed to go.
busted.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go by that
I remember
anymore.
you told me that one time.
Right the opposite.
Yeah,
As
he
soon as
did.
she told me that, I'm like, well, I killed one that flew directly down to the east right at me.
Yeah,
I've heard they won't fly across
I
the
had
creek.
read it
Yeah.
in magazines and stuff, and I'm like, no. But
I've heard like
that's
a
false.
creek they won't, and I was on a ridge, and there's a creek in the field, and they were out in the field gobbling. And I thought, I'll never bring them across the creek over here. So I went down to the creek to get across it.
Yeah.
I couldn't cross the creek, I was just like roaring.
Yeah,
I said, man, I can't get across.
yeah.
So I backtracked, so I just called to them, and they gobbled a while. Next thing you know, they flew. I seen them fly across.
Yeah,
And one come walking up there, and I killed him.
we watched, where was we going to, we was going towards Atlanta, we seen, I said, there's some turkeys, this is this year, it's been 2-3 weeks ago.
Oh, we went
I
down
said,
to-
I watched them both fly up over that creek, it's a wide Horn Creek.
It was over right off the interstate.
Yeah.
Over in, what is that called? Not Barnwell.
Tunnel Hill.
Resaca.
Yeah,
Resaca.
Resaca.
As soon as you get on the interstate,
Yeah,
right there, and it.
on the right,
Yeah.
yeah,
Wow,
some big old toms.
turkey hunting special.
It is. It's different. Yeah, it's way different.
Yeah. Whether you kill one or not, just go in and.
I have fun. Like they can go and herd with anybody. I have fun just being a part of it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have to be shooting
I don't
one.
have to be. I've killed enough turkey that's like now, but I would like to keep the streak away.
Yeah.
And
It's kind
pack,
of tough,
but
but
Yeah.
I don't know. I like
Yeah.
to. It was about 3 days away.
Yeah.
And it's got to end sooner or later.
You'll have to go with us or go with me. or
That's what I'm
either
talking
one.
about, so we need to go together, we'll do a
Especially when
turkey hunt video.
WMA
I've been
opens
seeing
up.
some gobblers. I was going to tell you where they were later, but I've been seeing some. I was going to
Yeah,
take
you don't
some
have
too.
to tell us on
Yeah.
here,
Yeah.
we don't know,
I-
nobody else to know.
I'm always looking, and even during deer season, like there's a spot on
I was
WMA
looking.
in deer season. I spent the whole last month of the season just about it, just bow hunting. It's bow hunting the only place.
Uh-huh.
Bow hunting up there because the acres were kind of sparse this year. It was just
Yeah.
a dry year.
Uh-huh.
So late in the year, as far as food sources go, they were pretty much easy to find. They were locked down places. So and there was several bucks up there. I was hunting with a bow, but I'd get up there and I'd hear hens cackling and stuff in the mornings, and then toms gobbling. So I got to pay attention to them too and watching where they were roosting at. And I thought, well, I'll come back, and if they're still doing the same thing, I could probably get on one, you know.
Yeah,
But
they
I'm
got
like
their
you,
favorite roost spots.
I'm not a big caller. I mean,
No, I'm not. No, I call probably the least amount of anybody, I
Yeah.
guess. I mean, I used to call, like I'd have a gobbler in front of me in a tree, and I'd call. He'd answer.
Yeah.
We'd go back and forth. He'd fly down and just go away.
Yeah,
So now I just let him know I'm there.
Yep, that's it.
And then he'll gobble, do anything. He'll sit there. And if I can see him fly down or hear him, as soon as I hear that, I start calling.
Yep.
yeah,
Because he's on the ground then. And I've had better luck that way.
that way, yeah.
Uh-huh.
No, another thing somebody told me too was like, even like before the season, you go out there and you're trying to find them. You know they're there, but you're trying to find where they're roosting at, and not to use your calls before the season. That's
Right.
a huge plus because
Yeah.
it don't take long.
It don't
They get
take
used to
long.
that, and they can tell the difference. I
And
think.
if you spook one a little bit, he sees you.
Yeah,
He's a little
it's,
bit shy, and then on.
Yeah.
A deer
Well,
is too.
it's
you know?
like, if you got a favorite spot you like to go hunt on a piece of property, they'll pattern you just like you pattern them. And so if you kill a good bird and he's got some others with him that are 2-year-olds or whatever, they're gonna remember that spot. It's like, hey, that's kind of a dangerous spot because their buddy got killed right there. So you got to be more mobile and.
I heard somebody say you need to go like in a public land area if you're hunting public land turkeys to kind of pretend the turkeys are hunting you.
Right. Yeah.
Like, how would how am I going to hide to keep them from hunting me?
That's what I do.
And somebody told me that.
That's kind of the way I do deer hunting on public land. I try to go where, like, if I'm being hunted, where am I going to hide? Where's my escape routes? Because I do better luck on public land hunting deer if I look for escape routes and not look for. I won't set up on these roads and these scrapes.
No matter how good it looks.
I look for escape routes.
I'm a big guy on like not hunting the same spot. I mean, I'll hunt the same spot twice in a row or something, but not just going to the same spot over and over, and especially not walking in the same way. Yeah, that ground, they'll pick up on that ground.
Pick up on that ground. I've seen them walk and bust me just walking across where I walked in.
The one I killed.
Maybe not run off, but like.
Well, that one I killed a couple of years ago, and I showed you with that bow I bought from you. That's what he did, and I was lazy. I got up late that morning. I had like 10 shoes on. And I was like, man, I'm gonna go, because I was gonna walk like 2 miles and get in there. It was gonna be uphill all the way back to the truck. And I went out there and I hung some scent up on just right between 2 buck trails, and didn't spray my feet. And I'm usually, pretty conscious about my ground scent and stuff. And there he come, and as soon as he crossed my ground scent, it was like immediately he was getting out of there.
He knew.
But I got lucky. He didn't know what was going on because he didn't smell me. He had a good wind.
He smelled some broken ground or something.
Something that wasn't supposed to be there. And he ran over there behind a bunch of thick stuff and stopped. And I just, old Matthews, I bought from him, I drawed on him to where he was going to go. And I had an opening, and I just waited on him to step in it and got him. But it could have went the other way.
He sent me the pictures like it was in December.
Yeah. Well, it was almost. It was the last day of November.
Right at
it. Right in the rut. It was cold.
Yeah, like last year, talking about hunting someplace the first time. Last year, I found a white oak, 3 or 4 white oaks that just started dropping in.
Yeah.
And it was like 2 days before opening day of gun season.
That was a money.
And I found droppings and fresh rub. I said, okay, I'm just gonna hunt here right day opening day. Yep. First time I'd ever been to that spot ever. I went in there with a climber, climbed a tree. And sat there all morning, did not see a deer, really, till 11 o'clock. I thought, man. Yeah. I said, I'm going to sit here, started to get up, so I'm going to say 11:30.
Yeah.
And at 11:20, a whole bunch of does came in, and then this real nice 8-pointer just come walking right down through there and just buried his face in them acorns. Like 15 yards. Yeah. It was the opening day of gun season. It was a real nice 8 with 128 inches.
Dang.
Okay, I remember seeing a picture. At least show picture of that now.
Yeah, it was a real nice 8-pointer, but it was 11:30.
Yeah.
And the buddy of mine, he had took his daughter, because she had hunted on a youth hunt. She's 11 or 12. And they shot and killed a doe not far from where I was.
Yes,
they had already gutted it and left.
Yeah.
And we're home eating lunch. I was still sitting there, nothing.
Probably everything just settled down, and there they come back.
They came back.
Yes.
And that's the first time I'd ever even been in that part of the woods ever. I went in there on Thursday, hunted it on Saturday, and killed that buck at 11:20.
That's usually, to me, that's usually the best chance you got. Cause you can ground set everything.
It was the first time. It was a shock.
It'd be like somebody coming into your house and uninvited. You go in there where they live at, they're going to pick up on it.
That's what I tell
people. And do it over and over.
All the time, like when you leave your house and you drive to the grocery store, whatever, you'll notice like, hey, they built a new restaurant here, or hey, that house burnt down, or hey, they mowed it.
Or they're doing construction. They're building nothing.
Deer see the same. Deer, turkey see the same thing when they're going. They see the same route, so when they'll notice when, hey, what's that blind?
I go over to our property over there, and I see a tree that's broke off. It wasn't broke off. I think winds broke that off.
But talking about being in like you killed that deer, the buck I killed, the second one this year, the 8. That's the first time I ever been in that tree. First time I ever hunted that spot.
Yeah.
First time I've been in that spot. I had cameras out. But and it was after 11 because I thought I don't want to sit here any longer. I'm not going to see anything. I'm too close to this house. I was doubting myself, but I knew that I could kill a buck close to those houses. Cause I've seen it time after time how big bucks, well, they'll bed near the houses, they feel safe there, they don't feel no pressure.
They're used to that.
Yeah, so,
Nobody's bothered.
but I done told myself, I was like, I'm calming down, cause my buddy said, oh, you'll probably see deer about 10:30.
You hadn't
10:30,
seen
and I'm
nothing.
like, I'm gonna calm down, I'm gonna check that camera down in the hole that I don't have any signal from. I was halfway down the tree. He come walking in behind me. I'm like,
That cool thing about that's the story you're talking about. When she brought it to the house, and I had a scale, like you know, check station's got that scale. I got one last year, and I was like, man, so bring it down here, we'll weigh it. I'm just curious, you know, I want to try it out. And that thing had one eye, that buck did. Like it was completely rotted out.
The one she killed last year?
Yeah,
this
she
one
was
this year,
climbing down the tree, getting ready to leave, and that was the sign he come in on.
That's
So
why he didn't spot me.
had no idea she was
Yeah,
there.
and I was halfway down the tree, still had my saddle on. I didn't have
That
a
was a
tether,
mature
but I
deer,
had my
too.
line belt. And he's back here, and it's rifle, and I'm right-handed. You know, I've been good to do
yeah.
on this side.
He's
So
over here.
I thought, how am I going to do this? Because he's supposed to get away. And I'm like, how did he not see me coming down this tree? Because he'd walked across this way. I had my back to him.
Yeah.
So I swung, I positioned my
awesome.
lineman belt, and I turned around, and I hung on my hip sideways and got my arm around and shot this direction.
Left-handed?
I shot right-handed,
Right-handed,
but I
but
had
you-
to turn around. It was awkward as all get out. And how I, you know, my ribs was still
Yeah, you're
healing.
twisted like.
Yeah, and so I was having to put all that weight on them broken ribs and laying around like how I held that gun steady enough to. Once I got it around, those crosshairs come down. Once it hit that spot, I
You
just
squeezed the
pulled.
trigger. He
Yeah.
fell over.
Well, he bucked and run and laid down about 20 yards from where I shot.
Yeah. You know, that day, the opening day, I was telling you the first time, I almost took my bow that day. I
Yeah.
said, I'll kill one of these white-whiters. They was right under me.
That would have been something. Keep
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
up
and I
the
said,
bow.
no, it's opening day of gun season. I'm gonna take the rifle.
Yeah.
And I wish now,
You took
1,000
it,
times,
Bo. That'd been
Well,
nice.
I would have killed that buck. Well, I say I would. I
Yeah.
guess I would.
Yeah.
Right there. I mean, because he was just broadside, not alert about anything.
Yeah.
At
How-
11:20.
How's that bow treating? I know you got.
Oh, I like them.
Is it Matthews?
I got a Elite now.
Oh,
Elite
see,
Ritual 35.
Yeah.
It's
It's a
That's-
bow cam, isn't it?
it's 2 cam.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You
That's
like
one
it
of our
as far as shooting
sponsors
it.
for fall
Elite.
session is Elite, and I'm thinking about getting me one.
I like it. The only reason I got rid of that one is because I'm long-armed, and there's a lot of, when I drew back, there was a lot of narrowness on that short axle bow.
I love
Yeah.
that about that bow.
And so I got me a 35. It's a longer. It's a little more awkward.
Yeah.
It's longer, not really.
Yeah.
But
That was a 33.
it's 31, I think.
Oh, is it? Is that short? I know it's compared to that old bow.
But it's got great big cam.
It's shorter
It's got
than
a great big cam.
It's huge. It's aggressive.
It's
cam.
shorter than my Matthews. My
Is it?
Matthews 30.
Yeah, it's shorter
The
than my
cam
old
he
one.
has is real aggressive. If you looked at it,
Yeah.
it's
Oh, I
like
think that's a real forgiving bow too. 'Cause I wasn't the best archer in the world when I got it, but after I bought it from you, that's all I wanted to do was shoot. I was shooting
Now he
like
feels
100
like
yards
the
a day.
best archer in the world.
No, I'm not
it's a
feeling like
smooth
that.
bow on Matthews Creed.
The farthest I ever shot was like 40 yards, and it wasn't good with that other bow. And I
Yeah.
bought that one from you, and the sight like you had, the OHHA, the single pin. I bought one just like it, and I think I called you when I was up there at the
Yeah.
store, and I was like, "Hey, is this what you got?" She said, "Yeah, I think so."
HHA single pin, just plain Jane.
Yeah, decided then you got to shoot for that tape a 20 and
Yeah.
40, but they recommend 20 and 60 to make it more accurate for the yardage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never shot 60. You come out of the house, we were sighting in,
Yeah.
and the
I
first
thought
shot,
this is gonna go
I
bad.
was shooting a block target, and I put it somewhere like if I missed, I was gonna get my arrow back. You know, I shot it and just thumped it. And I was like, "Hey, no way!"
Yeah, you drilled it.
Oh yeah, that bow's a good shooting bow. I love it.
This Elite, it's got a little ump to it. It's around. It's weird because I pull 70 pounds with it,
Yeah.
and I normally pulled 60, 65, but 70 feels like 60 on this, so it's got a
Really?
little more energy.
Is it pretty
Yeah.
smooth?
It's smooth. Yeah. Yeah, it's smooth. It's long,
Yeah.
and it's smooth. I got it at Dalton. I forget what that is over there.
Oh, that guy. Yeah, the highway over there. Talking about.
Dalton Sporting Goods, Dalton something.
I went over there.
I know
Yeah.
what you're talking about.
Yeah, I can't remember. Well, young guy.
Yeah, he's a young
Yeah, I
guy,
forgot.
real busy. You go in
Yeah,
there,
he
it's
is.
the busiest store I've ever been in.
He's got the.
He can't talk to you if you've been on the phone.
No, we
I
can't. He's
think
got a
Bill
ton of.
knows him because
Yeah.
he goes around to the rodeos and sells hats and
Yeah,
t-shirts.
hats.
and
You know
stuff.
the,
Yeah, blue jeans.
You know the old bottom lamp, the old mossy oak
Yeah.
camo?
Yeah.
You can't find that stuff anywhere unless you buy it off the internet. He's got a ton of it over there.
Oh really?
Yeah, so
I love the old mossy
Oh, that's a
stuff.
good camo right there.
Yeah.
I like that bow. I changed broadheads this year for the first time. I used those raids exclusively for years and years and years. and I decided to try that Mega Meat by G5.
Like it?
And oh man, I killed 2 does with it in late December.
Yeah.
I wasn't normally gonna kill any does, but I thought they were just piling in there.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I'll kill 2 of them. I want to see what the broadhead will do.
Yeah.
And yeah, it did just a number on them.
Really?
Yeah. Now I got to figure out how to take the blades out because apparently it's a one and done.
Is it?
Yeah, you have to change the blades, but there's a way to do it, and I got to read about it. I hadn't done it. I
Is
put
it
the
like
blade broadheads up and had to fool with it.
Is it like the Thunderhead?
It's a
and
3
stuff?
blade.
Like that, it's got the little razor blades.
Yeah, they're sharp right out of the
Yeah.
box.
Yeah.
And it's I think it's called Mega Meat.
Mm-hmm.
There's a
got some
Mega and there's a,
G5s that I shoot out of I got a bow cut from Cabela's when I worked there, and that's what we set it up with. But
do you still shoot the recurve and longbow?
yeah, yeah, I got 2 black widows and a bear, and I can't remember what the others are.
I'd like to try it, see what it's like.
I'll bring mine and let you shoot.
Yeah.
They're one of them's I want to say it's a 55 pound, maybe 60. I got a 40, and I think that bear was a 50 pound.
Mm-hmm.
But on my Matthews, no, I used to shoot muzzies and all that stuff, 3 blade and all that, but I'd lose deer.
Yeah, I would too.
It's like I wouldn't get the blood trail, and it's supposed to break bone and all that.
I might find them a couple of days later, like
I went old school. I went back to the 2, but just like an Indian broadhead. I shoot Magnus Stingers.
Yeah, Magnus Stinger, yeah.
And I shot an 8-pointer over there in the Cove in Velvet. It was like 2nd or 3rd day of archery season. And son, he hit the ground like I shot him with a bullet.
Yeah, he went down.
Yeah, and stiff-legged, he laid there and there was a spike with him. That spike kept looking like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, but everything I've shot with them has left a good blood trail. If they didn't drop right there, and normally you don't have a deer with a bow or arrow just drop.
No.
They all, run a distance where, but it looks like somebody pulled something out with a gallon bucket. Just.
Yeah. I like them. It's Mega Meat. Grant Woods. I don't know if y'all watch him or not. Growing Deer TV.
Yeah.
Someone
Yeah.
YouTube. That's what he's shooting a lot of. So they're not cheap.
Yeah.
I got to find some replacement blades, and I got to figure out how to replace them.
Yeah.
They probably have a YouTube video or something.
Yeah, I'm sure. I think they even have one on their site, G5. It was late, like January, and I was still hunting with them.
Yeah.
And when season closed, I just.
It's some of those, I don't know if the G5 does, but some of them have that little Allen screw that you have to take out to slide the blades.
Yeah, these are pretty neat broadheads.
We got about 10 minutes before your grandkids get here. Anything you want to ask them? I got a few questions I'll ask you if you want to.
Go right ahead.
As far as turkeys, get back on turkeys, what kind of turkey loads and what kind of gun stuff, or what's your setup?
I got a Mossberg 835, 3.5 inch.
Yeah, what's the heck?
I've had that gun. The first one I had got stole back in the late 80s, I guess. It was 89, late 80s or 90. And then I bought another one just like it. Yeah. And then I used the Winchester 12 gauge, 3.5 inch. Let's see, they're Longbeards, Winchester Longbeards.
Yeah.
Extended range Longbeards.
Yeah.
That's what I shoot. It's 3 inch.
A lot of people use a TSS, but a friend of mine came down and we took him. He wanted to see, he thought the TSS was by far superior.
They get more pellets, but I don't think they're.
We shot him at 60 yards.
Yeah.
I had a lot more pellets than he did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I don't know if I had as much force behind them,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
anyway,
those
he went back to the others. But
Yeah.
That's a lot cheaper too. I mean, that's what got me.
yeah, they're like $40 a box.
Oh, yeah.
TSS are like 80 now
Yeah,
for
it's
5.
outrageous.
That tungsten's so hard and heavy that you've got to buy a certain kind of choke, and they're expensive.
Yeah.
Besides, if I can't call one in to 30, 40 yards, I don't need to be.
I like that. I like my birds enclosed.
I don't need to be
I want to
shooting
look
them.
at them a minute.
It's not as exciting if they're
I don't.
right there.
Yeah.
They're 60.
I mean, if anybody wants to do it, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I don't. If I can't call him in there or put myself where he's supposed to be, I don't need to be.
I had to do when I worked at Cabela's, they got me to take, the TSS and several different, shells, turkey shells, gave me targets, and I went and shot all of them to show which was the better shot at. And Winchester's what I always went with. That's what I hunt with, the Longbeards or the.
I do my rifle.
They had a black one shell. It was a Winchester Supreme or
Yeah,
something.
Winchester Supreme.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he used before these.
Yeah.
Killed a lot of turkey with a Winchester, probably more than any.
Yeah, that's what I've killed a bunch
With a Winchester Supreme.
The other
Number
day
5.
we were
You
shooting.
buy them at Walmart and they're cheap.
Yeah.
That's what I
Number
like.
5.
You can buy
I
them for
get the
like
mix.
$11.99, you
Yeah.
know. But
I didn't know if I wanted to use the 4s or 6s. That's why I was getting the middle.
Well,
The
Yeah,
5.
I always use 4s, but
Four.
we were shooting and had some long beards.
Yeah.
Cause I had boxes of them Supremes, and I took my dad's shotgun. He's got a Mossberg, what was it, 500?
Fowler, yeah.
But I shoot a Remington 870
Yeah.
Express, and I said, I just want to shoot it. I said, he left it for me, and I put one of those long beards in it. But I had shot one of them through and when I compared them to the Supremes, I had more pellets with the long beards than I did
Yes,
the
the long
Supremes. But
beards
yet
is
I killed a
what I'm
bunch of
shooting.
birds with the Supremes.
I bought a 500 this year because I hunted that old. I don't know if I ever showed it to you, but I got an old New England, just
Yeah, you told me about
single shot. It's about that long, and it's not. It's old. And I killed one with it, and I'm like, well, I done what I wanted to do, so I broke down, bought a shotgun. I didn't want to spend a whole lot of money, so I bought a 500.
Yeah.
With a decent choke.
You like it? Yeah.
Oh yeah, the pattern's really good. It's like night and day to that old single shot. But I shot the number 5s like you were talking about, and at 40 yards, any of them good. I mean, for that
It's
choke,
deadly,
yeah, it's like a basketball. It's not. But at 60, the number 5s, they were really good. At
Yeah.
60, I was impressed.
Yeah.
And it'll get you about 20 more yards.
Have you
There's a
ever
huge
shot the
difference.
4x5s?
Mm-mm.
It's 4s and 5s mixed in
I've
there
not,
together. I've shot them before. They're pretty
good.
Yeah.
I got the sight I put, this is crazy. I use a scope, like a regular scope.
Yeah.
You know, like a 2-power, it's low power. It's a
Yeah.
Bushnell, I think. And I decided I was going to go with that red dot.
Yeah.
Everybody's talking about the red dot. So I bought me one, put it on, sighted it in. I didn't like it.
Really.
I can't remember to turn it on.
That's what gets me.
And the
Yeah.
thing about it, once you remember to turn it on, you got to train yourself to turn it on.
Yeah.
Well, then if it's really super, like low light, like right at daybreak, if you got it on real bright, you can't see anything. It's too bright.
Yeah.
So you got to remember to turn it down.
Yeah.
And then as the morning goes up, it starts getting sunny. You just see a little. You got to remember to turn it back up.
Yeah.
I said I can't remember all this
That's
stuff.
a whole
If
lot.
I'm walking after a turkey, how am I
Yeah,
going to
that's
remember?
too much for me to have to fool with.
Yeah,
You
so
got
I just took it
turkey
off.
Friday, too. That's a whole lot of like, oh, I gotta move and do this. And,
I just put that scope, and I can't see very well, like you said.
Yeah.
And so I just put that scope, and it has helped me a lot.
Yeah. I never tried that. I never thought about it until you mentioned that the other day. And well, I think
That
we
scope,
ran, we ran into it. That's where I was headed, was to buy some sights from the Mossberg because I didn't like the ones that were
Right.
on the barrel. And I ended up getting just a plain, it's a Jolly Dot, fiber optic, but
Fiber
they're
optic's
real
good.
small. So like, not being able to see good, 40 yards, that helps me a ton because I can see my
Yeah.
target a lot better.
I killed a lot of turkey. I think it was a True Viz. It had like a housing and had a green dot. I like the green better.
That's what this
Yeah.
is.
Red.
Yeah.
A lot of them, but then it got to where it was kind of blurry, so I put the scope on. Put the scope on and probably not long ago, about 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah. I'm
And it's
still
low
shooting these.
power too. Like it's like 2 power,
Yeah.
so it's just barely.
You pretty much see like, just basically like you're looking down the barrel.
The only
Yes.
thing is you can't like, it's not a quick shot thing.
Yeah,
You got to have your gun up and ready and then,
yeah.
Yeah.
like a rifle.
Yeah.
We'll ask you too, tell them, because I don't know if we ever covered, tell them a little bit about your background as far as just like, growing up, where you work, stuff like that.
Okay, I grew up in Harrisburg, down here in the country. Farmed with the Rochesters, they farmed the Mitchell farm there. I worked for them. Gordon York farmed with him. Went to work at the co-op in the 80s.
Yeah, the one
Still
there in town. Yeah.
Mhm. Still in the farming business. Stayed there from 1982 to 87. Went to Bluebird.
Mm-hmm.
Worked on the assembly line for 3 years, and then went to law enforcement. Worked for the sheriff's office from 1990 to 2017.
Mm-hmm.
Almost 27 years.
Yeah, that's all I ever knew that you did, and that's when I met you, that's what you were doing.
Yeah, and then I left there, actually retired from there, and went to the road department,
Mm-hmm.
where I've been since then, since 2017.
Yeah.
But I grew up outdoors. My dad wasn't much of a hunter. He was an outdoors person. He worked outside all the time.
Yeah.
And he raised cotton and all that stuff. But he didn't do a lot of hunting. But he did go with me because I wanted to go as a 8 and 9-year-old kid. He took me.
Yeah.
But he never was much of one.
No, that's
I met a guy named Jerry Smallin, and he started taking me deer hunting with him.
Yeah.
And I don't know if y'all remember them or not. Jerry Smalls.
The
I
name
know
sounds
He was a
familiar.
good guy.
Was it?
Good guy. And he was like probably 50, and I was a teenager.
Yeah.
Me and him hunted a lot. We killed a lot of turkey together.
Probably learned a lot from
Learned a
him.
lot from Jerry. Jerry was a good hunter.
Yeah.
Jerry was an old school hunter.
Yeah.
Like, you know, back in the 70s and 50s,
Yeah.
60s.
You don't run into people like that very often
No, he was a
anymore.
good guy. So I stayed around him. He died probably about 2008 or 9, I guess. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a good guy.
I know where you grew up at, and that place. That's, to me, that's one of the prettiest places I've ever
Yeah,
seen anywhere.
it
Just
is.
that
It's
area.
a pretty place.
Yeah.
I've hunted there. I've only hunted turkey in Georgia. I've never went out of the state to hunt turkey.
Me either.
But I've hunted deer in Georgia, Tennessee, Kentucky, Kansas,
Yeah.
Illinois, and Iowa.
I love to go. to
That's
Kentucky.
awesome.
I've killed a deer in every one of those states except for Tennessee.
Really?
Never killed a deer in Tennessee. I've never hunted Alabama a day in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. That's something I want to get into. God willing, as I get older, is kind of going to different states and stuff. I'm gonna go to South Carolina this year. My best friend, he moved to Charleston a few years ago with his wife, and we're gonna try to get on a turkey down there, and it's in the coastal plain where like the tide, it's pretty
That'd be
close.
yeah,
different.
that'd be
That'd be
different.
different.
Oh, it's gonna be wild. It's like the palmettos and stuff, and the tide comes in and pretty much just limits where they can go. I'm nervous about it. I told him, I said, I'm not gonna promise you to get on a bird. I don't know anything about it, but we're gonna try it.
Oh yeah.
He wants to turkey hunt. He
You'll
wants to
learn.
learn how.
Right, yeah.
He's never killed one, so. And he came up deer hunting this year with me a
I
little bit.
met Jason Price. He's a real good friend of mine. He works in McKee Foods and he's in his 50s, and he went to work in McKee when he was 18.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So
Yeah.
he's never known anything else.
Yeah.
But he's a big bow hunter.
Yeah.
That's all he does. He does not even own a rifle or anything.
Really?
That's
He
cool.
turkey hunts with a shotgun, but bow hunting, deer only.
Yeah.
And he's killed some really nice deer because he owned a farm in Illinois. That's where we used to go.
Yeah.
And he recently sold it
Yeah.
because we wasn't getting to go up there as much as we did.
Mhm.
And I learned a lot from bow hunting from him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's different. It's a totally different.
Bow
ball
hunting,
game.
he is the best at finding sign to bow hunt on
Mhm.
that I've ever saw.
Yeah.
That's something good to learn too.
He can, if he says don't hunt here, a lot of things about me, a lot of signs, I wouldn't hunt here.
Yeah.
And explain why,
Yeah.
or whatever. And then next thing you know, I just found bow hunting, and I like it probably almost as well as turkey hunting,
Yeah.
I guess. But
Yeah.
I like gun hunting with deer too,
Yeah. I like
all
it.
of it.
Yeah, I love it all, but like my favorite is archery.
I did bear hunt. I did kill a bear with my bow in Cahutta, but that is hard.
I imagine.
I wish I'd started as a younger man. I've
Yeah.
done it more often, but
Yeah. Well, just
I don't know if I can even do it.
where they live at and getting them out of the woods, and
Oh,
plus
yeah.
they got. I've read. I don't know, but I've read that their nose is better than theirs.
Oh yeah, we bear hunted. It was in 2011,
Mm-hmm.
and I saw. You don't think I'm crazy, but it was 11 bears that morning.
Wow.
Now I don't know if some of them were the same bear coming
Yeah,
by.
Yeah.
I don't know if he went down and came back by,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
11 different times.
Yeah.
A bear, and I wound up killing one. And Jason was with me, and he was on. He was closer to the truck than I was. I was way back. He killed one too.
Yeah.
So we thought we'd just take them both out. We got one out, and we started at 11 o'clock, and at 4 o'clock we were at the truck. And I had thrown everything I owned away to try to get lighter weight. We got to the truck, and we looked at each other and said, I think we'll just wait till tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Good job
was
there.
That's rough.
That's rough.
Really.
Oh
rough.
yeah.
That's
It-
rough. And we didn't know what we were doing. I don't know how to bear hunt, but we wound up doing it. It was fun. It's just, man, you kill a bear, it don't drag like a deer. And
You don't have a rack to grab up.
no, there's no rack, and it don't slide.
Yeah.
And man, it was awful. And
Yeah,
gutting
deer's,
it was
deer's pretty slick on the side of bears. That coarse hair. and stuff
field
like that.
dressing him there was kind of eerie because it was kind of dark and raining, and it looked like a
Yeah.
human.
I would imagine it'd be really awkward trying to drag one out.
Oh, it was awful.
I
We
wouldn't
actually
have known
carried
where
him
to
out.
begin.
We carried him to
Did
the
you
get
pole
the
him?
drag. Yeah,
Like a
we
pole?
did the old-fashioned pole and like, yeah.
I
it-
bet you could feel that digging into your shoulder.
Yeah, my
the
shoulder
whole
was
time.
bruised back here. And we went back the next morning and had a much better idea. We carried like a sled, like a kids would go down with the snow. So
Yeah, that's what I
we
was.
sprayed the bottom with some kind of lubricant.
Made me think about that
Make it
movie,
slick.
you know, where they spray the snow sled and he just.
Yeah. We put the bar on it, ratchet strapped it on, and slid it,
Yeah,
and it, you know,
yeah.
went out pretty
A
good.
lot better.
Yeah.
We got
There was an
bear
older
around here
guy
now.
over there, and he had a bear. I
Yeah.
thought, how did he get that out by himself?
He doesn't
He's-
by himself.
He didn't go as far back.
Oh.
He had that. He's, oh, it's easy. All you got to do is
Oh,
take.
it's easy.
Like dragging a deer, basically, I guess.
He told us how to do that better. And we had a cart, but where we were in the wilderness area, and they wouldn't even let you bring a cart.
Yeah.
A
No
lot of
wheels.
times them carts, the wheels end up falling off where you get where you're
And it
going.
really wasn't as steep as what you would think,
Yeah.
but it was like this. So
Constant.
we're carrying,
Yeah.
walking with a bear,
You
you're
feel like
pulling
one leg
downhill.
was
Yeah.
longer than the other,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
We got it out. We was determined.
I had to drag it
We
here.
almost stopped and started quartering it up. We
Yeah.
almost did. And we said, well, we ain't got but a mile left. We done come two.
Yeah.
Pushed
It's
it.
too late, too far to turn back. So
Yeah.
That's
I like to bear hunt. I've never hog hunted.
Really?
I,
Yeah,
I got friends that hog hunt and they get in there with a knife
Yeah, I've heard
and
of
kill
that.
them. And
Yeah.
they like, you gonna go with me? I said, just call me, I'll go. They
Yeah.
got dogs to do it. They got mules too. They ride their mules in.
Mhm.
And I said, you shoot off that mule? He said, yeah. I said, you're gonna have to teach me how to get a mule to stand still while I shoot.
I think this year I want to try like some public land deer hunting that I've never been on before.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Year before last, we went to Lanahassee, which
yeah.
is in Monroe County, Georgia. It's a pine thicket. It's
Yeah.
a pine plantation. I never hunted where there's no oak trees,
Yeah.
so I was lost.
Yeah, that's
That's
a
the way
different.
I know what to look for.
I still don't know what to look for, stuff like that. The select cut forest where it's just like standing, big tall
There's
standing
no
pines.
food. There were just browse. And
Yeah, to me, that's what it looks like. There's no food. It's just
That's kind of
covered.
way like whenever, because I started, because all I had ever done was like Walker County or City County, you know,
Mhm.
Lookout or Pigeon. When I went to BF Grant year before last, wasn't it? Yeah. I went down there and I pulled up topos and looked at it and we went down a week or two early to look at it and they had oaks, but there was more pines, more clear cuts on stuff. So I narrowed it down to I was hunting power lines, creeks,
Mm-hmm.
bottoms, you know,
Yeah.
creek crossings. I'd find the bends in the creek because I knew that's where
Mhm.
but
Travel corridor.
it was different. And then when we went to Piedmont, you had to scratch your head on that too, and because it was different from when I was hunting.
Yeah, you went to Piedmont.
I told you about that,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Because I asked you.
My two cousins, they knew Piedmont like the back of their hand.
Yeah.
There's nothing they don't know about.
That's funny.
We should have went on him.
Oh, I said, well, I've never been. Oh, we know it like, we know it like our backyard. They
Yeah.
knew everything about
Yeah.
Piedmont.
That place is huge too. It's enormous.
So has he told you?
No, I hadn't told her.
No.
We ride down there. I'm just riding. Got this bow hunt, and it's
Yeah.
early September.
Yeah.
It's hot.
Green.
Bees are out and mosquitoes. And we go down there and go on this dirt road for a while. And he parks and stops. He said, "There's your spot. I got a summit climber. I put on my back." I said, "Pitch black." I said, "Where?" You know. I walked into the woods to start walking. I thought, well, I'll keep the road to my back here so I won't get lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Walked a little bit and I shined a flashlight and I seen droppings and some acorns on the ground and some feeding sign. I said, I climbed a tree.
Yeah.
And within 15 minutes, a doe comes walking up there and some more does. And I
Yeah.
drilled her. Drug it out to the road
You go to Piedmont, call
and
them
sat down.
cousins.
Sit down. I said, well, and here they come driving back up. They didn't have nothing. They didn't know. They didn't know nothing. They pulled up there and said, well, you ready? I said, we gotta get this deer out here. You killed a deer? I said, yeah, that's what we came here for. Oh, well.
That's funny.
But they didn't know nothing. They said they knew everything. I didn't ever go back with them.
Yeah. I like to go back to BF Grant. When I
Did y'all
went
like
down there.
Piedmont?
Yeah, I like
enjoyed
Piedmont.
the heck out of it.
I'd like to look it over some more though.
We,
I found some good sign and good places,
That's the
either
thing
where
about
it
it,
was
there's too
in the
much
creek
sign.
bottoms
Mhm.
or I find places where there was tall ridges and they
Mhm.
dropped down real
Mhm.
deep in a ravine, which I think on the video I was talking about Piedmont hunt. I climbed up a tree and it was literally a steep ridge come down this way and that way, and you couldn't stand in the bottom of this thing to walk, but it was like where they had made a clear cut, growed up and controlled burn, so it was thick, and I knew there was bedding areas, and I acorns dropping here, and I knew this on that side. And they were hugging the edge of this ditch because they couldn't go on down. It was like a 12-foot drop off.
That was at B.F. Grant.
This is at
Piedmont.
Piedmont. Yeah, and that ridge went down like this till it went to the bottom. I didn't go all the way to the bottom because I knew it was pretty good way. I thought I don't want to drag one that far with
it's more steep than I imagined.
It was impressive, the sign and stuff, and then the creek bottoms is a ticket at Piedmont, I think.
Okay.
But and B.F. Grant too. But B.F. Grant, when I got down there, everywhere I had pinned me a spot that I wanted to check out. It was every 10, 15 yards there was huge rubs. And I would have droppings and scrapes, fresh scrapes. Well, one spot, I had 3 spots picked out before I went down there. And when we got there, we were going to hunt that evening. And we decided we were just going to walk in. We was going to hunt the next morning. We got there the day before, so we kind of went and scouted a little spot for another backup. And went in, and Bill that was with me, he went off to the left, and I went down, and I found a creek bottom, and I was going down, and it was kind of rough down in there, and I was finding rubs and scrapes and stuff, and it was getting more and more of them, and I seen some of them was, pretty fresh, and I thought, I'm going to set up in here, but I'm going to have to figure out how to come in here without going through that to get where I'm going. Well, when I went in there the next morning, one of the scrapes that I had walked by, he done come visited it before I got in there.
Really?
Yeah, because that wasn't in there yesterday. But every 15, 20 yards was a rub and scrape everywhere I went down there.
Now this is B.F. Grant.
Yeah.
Would you hunt it again?
Oh yeah, B.F. Grant, I would hunt it again. I was on. Their does down there are way bigger than our bucks.
They're huge.
Yeah.
Same with Lannahechee was like just a pine thicket, and it was really thick.
Yeah.
So you had to get like really tall, up high.
Did you rifle hunt it?
It was a rifle hunt. Yeah. And I didn't know, when I found out, I went back and we talked to the game guy that was working there, and he said they burn a lot of it, and I found where they burned. And it was like to lower, so I was able to say, I saw a lot of deer. I did not see a decent buck.
Yeah.
At all the whole 4 days we were there.
We come back.
They did kill some.
Piedmont, we could do a whole video talking about that, but I kind of had the same thing. We didn't go, because Daddy went with us. We got drawn, and I told Daddy, I said, well, I'm going to take the whole week. I'll work 2 days a week, so I'm going to take those 2 days off. I said, we'll get down there early. I said, we'll spend a day and a half, 2 days scouting before they won't even let you hunt till it starts. So we scouted, and I pinned a bunch of stuff at home, sitting there on the Odex, just looking at stuff I wanted to check out. We made it to 3 spots out of like 6 spots I wanted to look at. Every one of them was like, to me, it's too much sign. You didn't know where to sit.
Yeah.
But the creek bottoms, like she said, I went to the first creek bottom.
Yeah.
It was just the
Creek
prettiest
bottoms.
timber you'd ever seen, and it was covered up. We jumped 2 bucks going in there, but while I was there, I saw a ton of turkeys and longbeards, and I was like, I'm gonna come back and turkey hunt this.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the regulations are. I'm gonna look into it. That'd be something, because it's really not, 3 hours?
It's not that Jones County.
It is covered up.
I like to go to Rocky Mountain turkey hunt, but I have to check and see if it's bow only.
Yeah, it was bow
'Cause I've
only.
seen
I don't
a
know. Does
lot
that
of-
mean for turkey too?
I don't know, but I've seen a bunch of turkeys down there and I've scouted it quite a bit, and I talked to the game wardens when I was there one time, and he put me on a spot where there was a power line, and he
Turkeys.
said nobody hunts. I was hunting for deer, but I saw lots of turkeys while I was there, but the deer sign was where he had told me to go. He said nobody ever goes there because there was a road close by, and he said, but that power line would go all the way to the lake. He said, you go down to there, he said, say 100, 150 yards, he said, bear off to your right. And I did. And
Eat up with turkey.
Eat up with turkey and deer.
It's I've never been hunting anywhere besides here till last year with Piedmont, and I was just impressed with the amount of wildlife there and how they managed it versus, not saying that bad about here, but it's a lot tougher here on public property.
You'd be surprised you wasn't crowded nowhere in Piedmont for
There's
a spot to
pressure
hunt.
though. There was a lot
Yeah, there
of
was
people.
pressure, but you could park somewhere and
So
you wouldn't have
big.
nobody else. And I did that at Bill Grant. There was only one spot that I had picked out, and that was going to be the spot I was going to go to the first to hunt because I had 2 cutovers that come off a ridge down, and they left all the oaks coming down the backbone of those ridges. and then it went down in the bottom that had oaks, and I had a creek bend, and I had a power line right here. I had everything. I had so many transition and pinch points right there.
Right there
bottlenecks.
together.
That's what I noticed. It's easy.
And I had big, does come under me. I heard shots, left and right, but I didn't hunt there that first day because there was somebody parked there when we come in. And I thought, all right, I'll save it till later. And Bill that was with me, he didn't have a spot to hunt that day that I decided to go to it because he was going to hunt the other side of the dirt road, and there's people in there. I said, tell you what, I said, I've got 2 spots picked up down there. I said, I'll go to the right. I said, I want you to go to the left as far as you can. I said, because I don't hear your grunt call. He's a big grunt call person. And at 9 o'clock, if he's not seen nothing, he's on that thing. I can't understand it. So,
You're right.
I told him, I put him in the creek bend, and there's a lot of privet and stuff down there, but there was a shallow spot, and I said, I guarantee you'll see a deer down here in this. And I said, go down that finger of that ridge, cut back to your left. I said, when you see it bend, cut back to the left. And I said, because if you go too far, the power line. And I said, you probably have somebody sitting there. And he had a big old buck come by him, slip by him.
Yeah.
And I had deer hunters come under me, but then I had does come off, 2 or 3 sets of does come off and come right under me. But I thought if I'd went there to start with, I might have got that.
Probably got that buck.
That big one, yeah.
Atlanta something you ought to look at. I mean, it is. They killed a lot of bucks when we were there. We had horrible weather. It got hot and mist and rain for the whole time we were there.
Yeah.
And we saw tons of deer every day. I never saw anything that was big at all.
Yeah.
But they were killing them all around.
Yeah.
And like you say, there's trucks and cars there, but we didn't have any people where we was.
Yeah.
It's got the same kind of.
That's why I never had any people on talking with Biff Grant. Only that one time, or one other spot I had went off into, because we went down there like 2 weeks or so before our hunt that we were supposed to be on. And actually, I walked 20 yards of a buck. He was already after a doe and down there. And I did that twice in this one spot. And when I went to hunt that spot, during the time I was down there, I dropped off into the creek bottom, and the creek went down and it made a Y in between these ridges. And Bill decided he was going to hunt on this side of it, and I thought, well, I'll just push on over to where that splits because people are coming in from this side. And I said, I'll be far enough away from other people. Well, I got down there, this was going to be an evening hunt. I went ahead and crossed that creek and went on further back, and I turned around and come right back up to that Y split, and I thought that's the best spot. And as I got right there, here come a guy walking right to the same spot, and I thought, dang, I wasted all that time.
Yeah. That's the problem with public land we talked about earlier.
Well, one benefit to it I figured out is like with private, you got places that you're treated like it's yours. You go in there anytime you want, but a lot of times you have to like talk to them. And, hey, I'm gonna come down there, and weather permitting, you may not be able to go when you want to.
Right.
But as far as like deer hunting and playing the wind, I love doing that on public. Like I'll find a spot I want to hunt or an area, and I'll come in from all kinds of wacky different directions, just wind based to get in there and hunt it.
Yeah,
And
it's
you'll
good
find
that
all
they're
kinds of
not
stuff.
patterning you that way.
Right.
That's how
People say what they want. Like in the Midwest, I bow hunted it and killed several bucks up there other than those.
Yeah.
And it was easier to me than it is here because you have a straight line wind up there all the time.
Yeah.
Either north, south.
Yeah,
constant.
and you get down in those ridges and your thermal's changing, or the wind will come down and it's doing this.
Yes, and there it's just flat. It's blowing one way.
That's what I figured out is I would find places that I could get away with it, and then I would use creeks and stuff too. Up on the mountain, I'd get right up on the creek with no wind and just use this.
And people talk about scent lock not working, and I know it doesn't work 100%, but I think it does help.
Yeah, I think it
Because
does.
I have been in swirling wind and got away with it.
Yeah.
Me too.
When I first started hunting, we used that Arm and Hammer.
Yeah.
And we would mix that stuff up and use it. Man, it would break me out.
The
kill up, because I didn't have scent weight
no,
and
I
all
know
that
that.
stuff then, so we used that Arm and Hammer and stuff.
I just wear that scent lock pants and that coat and anything underneath it,
Yeah.
whatever.
Obviously it's working if you got a whole
My-
room full of big bucks.
My biggest thing was to keep my scent down. If I was hunting public land and I knew I had a pretty good hike, I wore one set of clothes in,
Changed.
and I changed when I got to where I was going.
Yeah, I've done that before. Walking up the
Or
mountain.
just before I got where I was going, I changed.
Or
I
half
didn't want
walk.
to change where I was
Like,
at.
just a t-shirt.
Yeah.
And it freezing cold.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't get too sweaty and I put them on
Yeah.
when I got there. But
You know,
whatever it takes.
You were talking about going to the Midwest and stuff. Have you ever been out of state turkey hunting?
No, no, I
That's
have not.
That's something I'm wanting to try in the future.
You know, I always wanted to, and I thought, you know, they all look the same everywhere.
Yeah,
just
pretty
about,
much.
Pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
And I thought, no, and we had so many turkey here, I just never went. But
Yeah.
deer, I wanted to get bigger bodied deer and stuff, so I went out.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I'm at. Like the climb we've had here, I'm wanting to try some different stuff and go different places. I'd love to go out west and do Merriam's,
Yeah.
something, or go to Rio.
I'd love to do a
Kansas.
Grand Slam. I'd like to
Yeah.
kill
That's
each
that's a
one.
whole lot of time off and a whole lot of money spent.
I did a rifle hunt a public land hunt in Kansas with a rifle.
Really?
Me and
Yeah.
a friend of mine
There's not a whole
in
lot of public out there,
2015. Yeah, I mean, it's just, they call it walk up hunting. It's a
Oh, like
person
that,
that
yeah.
owns a farm who signed up with a county that they live in that
Yeah.
allows public hunting.
Yeah.
You just walk in. We did see a lot of deer and some big deer, but you can see so far. I mean, they're out of my range.
Yeah.
Just
That's
looking
probably
through
best
binoculars.
too, because they're not used to like looking at something flat like that.
Right, it was bizarre because we call them hollers, you know, here. They call
Yeah.
them coolies.
Yeah.
Coolies.
Coolies.
Yeah. And
I
it's
can
just a
mess with
little bitty
Russell on
strips of
that.
woods, and that's where the deer are, them little bitty strips
Yeah.
of woods.
Yeah.
You know, it was fun, but it's a lot of work. It's 16-hour drive, a lot of money because you got to eat, you got to stay in the motel,
Yeah.
you got to buy the license, and it wasn't worth. I don't have that much time anymore
Yeah.
to do
If I do it again, or well, next time I'll go somewhere like with Piedmont, we stay in Airbnb, but I'm gonna try to camp right there, save all that
That's what I
gas,
like to do.
Yeah.
Just
You
camp
know,
at the
just-
spot.
do it cheap, and it's gonna be, it's
Yeah.
gonna suck, but
That's
you
how
kill
I-
something to be worth it.
I made it easier on us because most everybody go to Piedmont would stay in hotels, the closest ones.
Mhm.
I told them, I said, I'm looking at Airbnb or VRBO where you can rent a house.
Mhm.
I found one 11 minutes from where we had to
Wow,
go.
really?
Yeah, and it was cheap. No, it
A
cheaper.
house?
Yeah, had a whole
Yeah.
house and
Save
they
a
had
lot
everything
for every
provided. We had a 5-acre yard and one morning he got up to go hunting. I didn't go that morning for some reason, and that was the day the train got blocked. And I sent him a message. I said, "Deer's in the backyard." I was sitting there watching
Yeah.
deer in the
Blocked by the
backyard.
train.
Yeah.
First day, we was all excited. Everybody hit it hard. We hunted. Well, I was gonna hunt all day, but I ended up coming out because everybody else did to go back to the trailer to eat. And by day two, everybody's just like, I didn't want to go either, but I'm like, man,
Yeah,
come all the way down.
I
I'm
shouldn't
gonna
have
go
even
hunt.
been down there because
Yeah.
that was just 30 days after I got thrown off at
Yeah, no,
horse.
there's a train track you go across the river, and there's a train track, and they had it blocked off. I had to drive all the way around this
Derailed or
place,
something.
and I didn't get in the woods till like 8:30.
Yeah.
And there was one spot that I wanted to hunt really, really bad. There's a huge sign, and it was just, I mean, I was like, there's a buck here now. And I got out there to that spot finally, and I got flashers. The guy started doing a ribbon at
Somebody
me.
already
So I
there.
just went
Somebody
back to
else
the house,
found it.
went scouting.
Oh, me.
It's been enjoyable. I
It has.
appreciate
I really
you.
enjoyed it. Thanks
That's
for
good.
coming.
Yeah. We'll have to do it again. We'll have to get together, do a turkey
Yeah,
hunt.
we
Yeah,
will.
I'd like to do a turkey hunt this year. I've been filming a lot of hunts and stuff since last year. If you're okay with it, I wouldn't mind just going with you and just filming.
Yeah, we'll do one this
Yeah.
year.
Mhm.
Just,
It opens on April 1st, and we don't have a whole lot of time.
Uh-huh.
April goes quick.
Yeah, real quick.
That taking that away in March.
yeah.
I know. I always
Well, I'm glad
think
they did,
when
I
they
guess.
said
Yeah,
April
me
1st,
too.
I said, "This is April Fools, y'all." Y'all taking.
Yeah.
But you got,
I was always third week in March. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm going
Third
turkey.
week in March, and it's weird not to go in March.
I know.
It is. Like right now, like today, I'm wanting to go. I
Yeah.
went out and listened this morning for gobbles, and
Yeah.
I was out there. I'm like, man, this is perfect weather.
Yeah, every morning I get up, I'm like, man, it's perfect weather. I mean, it's cold, it's clear, and
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just dead calm, and you can
it's
hear.
calm. I hear it, and I say, man, I ain't used to listen, I guess. Whatever.
I guess that'll wrap it up for us.
All right, well, I sure
Hopefully.
enjoyed it.
Yeah,
We'll do some more couch
Okay.
chats and.
I enjoyed it. That was fun.
yeah. Keep track of it too.
Time goes by quick too, as a man.
Yeah, we've been
I
at
know.
it about an hour, I think.
Yeah, I could talk hunting all day
I
long.
can
Y'all need anything to drink?
No,
I'm
I'm
not
good.
drinking
We
water.
appreciate it.
I got some water. I got need a snack or anything. I got apples. I got Little Debbie's.
Little Davies,
Yeah.
oh, that's
That's the
what
other thing too.
that's what my staple is during the week while I'm
Yeah,
working. Little Davies.
Can't